Hi guys, it's Miss Baynard here. We are going to go over your week one review, your Google form. So we have apples cost $1, oranges cost $2, and Noah needs to spend $10 at the produce market. And they want to know, can Noah buy 7 apples and 2 oranges? So the seven apples cost $1 each, then that'll be a total of $7. Well, how did we get that? So 7 apples times the cost of apples, which is $1, gives 1 times 7 is 7. And 2 oranges. 2 oranges cost $2 a piece, so that would be a total of $4. And we got that by multiplying the cost of oranges, $2 times how many oranges? 2 oranges, and we get $4. When we add $4 and $7 together to get our grand total, we get $11. Well, Noah only has $10 to spend, so can he buy 7 apples and 2 oranges? No, he cannot. Next question. Use two variables. We're going to use two variables. I'm going to use X for apples and Y for oranges to write an equation that represents a $10 combination of apples and oranges. Well, that's basically what we did here. This is our equation. We took the cost of apples times the amount of apples, which we don't know. We don't know how many apples Noah's going to buy. So that's what the variable X is. So we have our $1 times X, and we're going to add it together with the cost of oranges. So that's how much oranges cost, $2 times how many oranges Noah's going to buy, which we don't know yet, so we're going to use the variable Y, and that has to equal how much Noah has to spend, $10. So that's our combination. All right, so now we're on the next question. We are solving these equations when X is equal to 2, so that means we're going to substitute. So right now we have Y is equal to 6 times X. However, we know what X is. X is equal to 2. So now it's Y equals 6 times 2 plus 8. So Y is equal to 6 times 2. 6 times 2 is 12 plus 8. And 12 plus 8 is 20. So Y is equal to 20. Next equation, same thing. We're going to substitute. Y is equal to 3/4 times X. Well, we know what X is, and X is 2, and I'm going to write that as a fraction as 2 over 1, plus negative 2.5. Now, to make our lives a little bit easier, since we're clearly dealing with fractions, let's go ahead and turn negative 2.5 into a mixed fraction, or excuse me, an improper fraction. So we have 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1, so our numerator is 5, and our denominator stays the same. So our next step is we are going to multiply our fractions, and we do that by multiplying straight across. So our numerators, 3 times 2, 6. Our denominators, 4 times 1, which is 4, plus negative 5 halves. So now you run into a little bit of an issue because in order for us to add fractions, our denominators have to be the same. So we're going to change negative 5 halves so that it has a denominator of 4. So I change my denominator from 2 to 4 by multiplying it by 2. So whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. So I get 5 times 2 is 10, and it's still negative. So we end up with y is equal to 6/4 plus a negative 10/4. So when we are adding or subtracting fractions, we're going to keep our denominators the same. So our denominator is going to stay 4. And we're going to apply the operation to the numerators only. So we have 6 plus a negative 10. We're adding mixed sign numbers. We're going to take the sign of the larger number. So 10 is larger than 6. So we're going to keep negative. And then we're going to subtract. So we have 10 minus 6, which is 4. So we have negative 4/4, which is equal to negative 1, because any number divided by itself is 1, and then we just got to keep the sign of negative.